Good day, CW.
Hello, everybody. It's time. It's Rock and Roll Confessional. We thank you so much for tuning in.
Today, we're honored to share a rare and special conversation with one of Los Angeles' original punk icons, Exene Cervenka of X. As the co-lead vocalist, a core songwriter, poet, and artist, Exene has helped define a genre and inspire generations.
X began shaking up the music scene nearly 50 years ago, and now, after decades of groundbreaking work, they're preparing to take their final bow. Their farewell album, Smoke and Fiction, dropped last year to critical acclaim, and now they're hitting the road one last time with their final tour kicking off September 19th and joined by the one and only Los Lobos.
So let's dive into this unforgettable conversation with the legendary Exene Cervenka right here on Rock and Roll Confessional.
Hello, Exene.
Hi.
I'm CW. You were kind enough to take your picture with Rita and I at the Pacific Amphitheater last week.
I know.
That was very nice of you.
We
well,
really
it was very
appreciate
nice
it.
of you.
I know, as Mike said, they're done taking pictures.
What does that? What does that mean?
He said they took pictures 20 years ago. They don't take pictures anymore. No,
he did not.
He was joking. He
Of
was
course
joking.
he was. He was thrilled. Are you kidding?
That's great.
We love him. Such a cool guy.
He sure is.
Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I mean, it's been a long time since we've been able to talk. I actually got to interview you at KEZY. I think it was back in 1980, the first album. You and John came into the radio station in Anaheim. And that was like one of my first interviews. So that was really cool. And now to take it full circle with this album, which you're calling basically the last album. That, I mean, what a great way to go out, because it's the whole album's on fire. You know, it's just really great.
Well, thank you. And you've been, everything I know about you is that you've been in a lot of radio stations and done a lot of things and interviewed a lot of people. So I feel pretty lucky to be here too.
Thank you. That's very kind.
So, Exene, last album, last tour, what's going on?
What's going on? I'll tell you what, finally we decided to make a record, and it was called Alphabet Land, and it came out just as COVID was hitting. So we had to come out before we wanted it to, and we couldn't tour, and it was like, oh no. So then we kind of had to make another follow-up record to do it right finally, because it's like, you have all these ideas, like we're finally going to make this one more record, we're going to tour, and it's going to be great, and then you can't. So I think that's why we got an extra one. So we always look on the bright side, right? COVID was terrible. Horrible thing. And what can you salvage out of that experience? A lot of people salvaged a lot of really good things out of that ultimately because they had to, and we were one of those that did. But yeah, it is our last record, and it is our last go-round as far as van tours. I'm not saying we'll never play another show after November, but maybe like a festival or something. So yeah, us and Los Lobos is a great way to go out, I'll tell you.
What do you call it? 99 years of rock and roll.
Right, because it is. And, if we could just do one more year, it would be 100 years of rock and roll. But I don't know if we're going to make it. We'll see.
Everybody does 100. I think 99 is like, it's like the band. It's like being a little different.
Well, yeah. And I also thought it was kind of like, when I realized that we had 99 years together, it was just too good, like 99 bottles of beer on the wall.
Yeah.
And I just thought of all the, kind of correlations of that, 99, that's great. Like almost.
Not quite there. Some great songs. The whole album is really great. So congratulations on that. Ones that really stuck with me were like Big Black X, which, man, that's a life well lived. You've experienced so many things. Still see the gutter, but hey, all good.
It is funny. That was not even on the record. It was just a poem I was working on. And then John and I started trading back lines and memories, and he came up with the music. And at first, the music was like not very good. Like he would say, like, I don't know why the chorus is terrible on this. What did I do here? And I was like, well, I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't. And then he came up with a different part. John never gives up. That's the reason we've lasted this long because
He's
of
very persistent.
oh my gosh. He will be a thorn in your side until you sing that part right. And God love him. I'm fortunate I met him. But yeah, that Big Black X is a great song, I think, for that reason. And it's fun. And it's just it's what a song is supposed to be at this point, I think, in your career. You're looking back, you're having fun, you're not reminiscing, you're not nostalgic. People said, are you nostalgic? It's like, for what?
Yeah.
We've been doing this for all these years. It's like it's still alive. It's not like we stopped for 50 years and suddenly realized we had one more record in us. We've just been doing this forever.
And it's kind of full circle. I mean, you started off the first album, you've got a great song about Los Angeles called Los Angeles. And now you've got Big Black X, which talks about Los Angeles and talks about Hollywood, but also hidden in there, the title is kind of how you got your name, correct?
We got our name because we were driving down Santa Monica Boulevard and we were driving past the Starwood. This is probably 77. And I was with John. We were driving and there was the marquee there at the Starwood, if anyone remembers, Rita. And it said the thes and the thes and the thes. And I said, that's stupid. And he was like, what? And I said, if I had a band, because it was right before we started really working together. So if I had a band, I wouldn't have my name like that's stupid, the monkeys, the weirdos, whatever. And he goes, well, yeah, I guess. And I go, I wouldn't even put a name up there. I'd just put a Big Black X up there. And he went, okay, well, do you want to call the band X? And I'm like, yeah. So we had just started, he had already met Billy. But the other thing about that song that's funny is a tiny little X on when we first started getting popular, we were playing like the bigger like theaters, like I can't remember the names, but there was one in Detroit and one in Seattle. And we would come to town and be all excited, and the marquee would be there, and they only had the small letters.
Oh no.
As there would just be this tiny little X on there. So eventually we went out and we ordered, and picked it up at a warehouse or something, a bigger X, and we would take it with us in the van everywhere we went.
Love it.
And every once in a while, we could put it up there. It was funny.
So wait, how do you feel about the band The?
I think that's brilliant, isn't it?
The.
I think all the names are great. I think everybody's great. I love everything now. I'm not like against anything anymore. I'm super grateful, filled with happiness all the time. And, I wish everybody the best. And that's just the way you get, I guess, over time.
It's a wonderful place to be, isn't it? When you can look back and say, I did okay.
You did okay. And the other thing is, the regrets that you have, if you learn from your mistakes, they aren't mistakes. And if you can help other people from your mistakes or whatever. And I don't know. I mean, sure, there's things that everybody could do better. And we made some mistakes in our career and things like that. But overall, pretty good, considering there was no roadmap, no plan, nothing to follow, no, just a wide open space, a void to fill. And all the bands did that in the 70s and 80s, not just us, but all those bands.
Yeah.
They're just filling a void,
Well, X was such an amazing part of the music scene at that time. Everything was kind of like either going corporate, you had the soft rock in the 70s. And then it's like, okay, you guys come around and, change the whole landscape in a sense.
Yeah, well, it wasn't just us, let's remember, right? And that New York scene was insane.
Yeah.
With Blondie and Talking Heads and Ramones, and the Cramps came out of that and then became an LA band. But, we had such great bands in LA. But what is interesting is when you look back on the music then, and you look at Pat Benatar and you look at Fleetwood Mac, and you look at all those bands, they were amazing.
Yep.
Pat Benatar's amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't have to be Pat Benatar. She already did that. I could be me and she could be her. And it was just a great time. Like I said, there was a void, but there wasn't a void really, because there was there was Van Halen playing, we were playing the Roxy, they were playing the Whiskey or whatever, or Gazzarri's, it was just a great thing. They played Gazzarri's a lot. But it was just there was room for everybody, you know.
One thing I've been really excited to ask you to find out where this life takes you. Some places, sometimes different places. And as a young girl, you were like raised Catholic. I think you lived outside in Illinois and Tallahassee. And when you look back at that girl, do you still see her and you're still her?
My son is a martial arts guy, and he said something really well, that, and he always says something interesting, but it was like there's this kind of thing in that world about living every moment like it's the first time you've experienced something, like being always a child. And so sometimes I have to remember to do that, because like I can't run down the street as fast as I want anymore, or ride a bike down the gravel road, but there are things you can still do that give you that feeling. And one of them is being on stage, because you're just dancing around and having fun with all these people. And I'm looking at all of them seeing a better show than they're seeing, in my opinion. And even if your knees hurt, or even if you're like tired from being in the van all day or whatever, there's just that hour and a half where you can just like run as fast as you can. And that's what I grew up doing on a gravel road in the middle of nowhere. You said Catholic school. Yeah, there was a school in my town. It was a town of 1,000. I went to church 7 days a week because that was all there was to do. School and church, Latin mass, go to the church and play on the playground in the summer, climb trees, ride a bike, play with the kids, be outside, watch Man from Uncle, watch the cartoons on Saturday morning with my sister, things like that. It was that old fashioned thing.
Yeah.
Um, and there's such an incredible freedom with that, because it's similar to the punk rock thing. Like, I got up in the morning and designed by day. I ate a bowl of cereal, and then I went outside. Whatever happened, happened, you know? And I just designed my own a magical world around just that. And the other thing is, when I was 12, I was riding in the car with my parents. We didn't go very many places. My mom was in the front seat, my dad was in the back driving, and I was in the back. It was winter time, I think. And maybe just getting cold, and Light My Fire came on the radio. And back then, there was AM radio, and just then there was FM, and FM was amazing, but it was scary. It was like what you listen to on your transistor radio at night under the pillow, and
Right.
you got to hear all this crazy stuff. But in the radio was still, it was great. It was the Supremes, and it was Ray Charles, and it was Johnny Cash, all that stuff. Anyway, that song came on the radio, and my mom knew that I liked it somehow, and so she turned it up a little bit so I could hear it better in the back, because back then, little car radio, and it was the long version. And I had never heard the long version. And I was sitting back in this car in the middle of nowhere, suddenly enveloped in this magical world of California and Jim Morrison and the Doors and that incredible organ and incredible guitar solo, and just blowing my mind. So by the time I got out of the car, it was like I'd been transformed. And then at Christmas, she gave me that record for
Oh my
a
God.
Christmas present. She gave me that and the Bobby Gentry Glenn
Oh,
Campbell
Bill.
record, which is
Okay.
one of the best country records of all time. So that was my world, and that's where I come from. And did I think that let's see, was I 12? So did I think in 10 years I was going to meet Ray Manzarek and he was going to produce records and I would be in a band? No, I thought I was either going to be a nun, a mom, a school teacher. I didn't think I'd ever get off the playground, probably, but I did get off the playground, and now I have that new playground. And so, wow, right? What a
Exactly.
strange trip, to quote Jerry Garcia, or the Dead, I guess it has been. That is mind blowing. And some people say, "Did you always think that?" It's like, I didn't think anything. How did I? I didn't think I was going to be in a band. I didn't think I was going to be a band in 1976.
Well, you quit school like at 16. So did you immediately go out to California or?
No, I was in Florida, and I'd, grown up in that Catholic upbringing, and I learned, you learn real hardcore stuff in Catholic school in the middle of nowhere, because those teachers, that's all we all have, right? You better have everything right by the time you're in fifth grade. And I did, but when I got down, my parents moved to Florida because my dad was a carpenter and needed more work. And the schools down there, Pinellas Park, I mean, it was very strange. It was the beginning of kind of the race riots at schools, and it was an all-white school, and they were very proud of that fact. Deep South, and I would sit there in class and I was way ahead. Let me just put it that way. So I didn't have much to do. So by the time I turned 16, I just quit on my 16th birthday and got a job right away. because there wasn't anything I was going to learn, and it was culturally really bizarre. I was a freak. There wasn't punk rock yet. I wasn't a hippie. I was wearing store clothes. Excuse me. I had like really weird outfits. So the black kids hated me. The white kids hated me. The hippie kids hated me.
Original eccentric.
I was. And when you look at it, though, everybody was at that age, because that's why there's so much weird peer pressure and horrible stuff that happens at that post-puberty age with kids, is nobody thinks they fit in. So they're all trying to get in groups. And then in the group, they don't, they kick somebody out. So it was just, for me, it was just like I saw that like there was nothing for me. And I didn't want to go to college or do any of that. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea, but I think it worked out. So.
It feels like you still were kind of punk rock, even though that wasn't in the mix at the time. Your first job is selling gravestones, or so-called selling
Plots.
gravestones.
Plots. It was St. Petersburg. It was my first job. I got hired to work in this little place, and I had to like call people up, cold call them, because that's always like, that's a lot of times my first jobs were all like those telephone solicitor. And I would call people up and say, you have a grave and don't you want two, or whatever it was. And I did it for about a week. And then one day I went into work and the door was locked. And it was just a whole scam that they were pulling on old people. And I didn't ever get paid my $14 or whatever they owed me. But I felt really bad about it because it was my first job. And I was like doing something bad and not getting paid. And I was like, well, okay, that's that. Let's keep going here. But I don't know, kids, we do the best we can. And, it's universal.
But then you go and you work at Webb's, which is like a P.T. Barnum to retail.
Web City, if anybody knows what Web City is, I mean, all Florida people knew it, but it was insane. It was like one of those wonders of the world kind of places. And I worked on the 4th floor, which is where the toys were, but it's also where the mermaids were and the animals that performed.
Shows and freak shows, right?
Oh, it was crazy. And but it was like there was a elevator operator. The lunch counter was desegregated, but nobody paid attention to that. You sat where you were supposed to sit. There was still 2 water fountains, but the signs were gone. It was just so Southern and old and weird. And Florida was so amazing then. St. Pete was a great. So many people came out of St. Pete at that time. Because we just had this incredible life, there was just like all these people went down there and then when they died, their kids would just throw everything at the thrift store, and we would just go by like, I mean, we could fill an antique store every week in our living rooms, and it was just so much fun. And, I eventually got a 1950 Cadillac, and, it was, we lived a fantasy, I look back at my life now, I'm like, wow, I had a good time. I had it was great. Anyway, yeah.
Love it.
So when you got signed, I think for the second album, for the third album to Elektra Records, was there ever conflict with the record company that they wanted you to become more pop or change your style or anything? Or did you have full reign?
Not at that time. But the guy who signed us, whose name I cannot remember, he was like a kind of a straight guy, but he loved us. And it was pretty celebratory with Ray and everything. It was like, wow, things are really falling into place. And then 2 weeks later, he left to go to a record label, another label. And I think that was the time when, people that ran the labels, like Clive Davis, or there were all these people that they had built these labels, Herb Alpert, all these people, and they were synonymous with that label. And suddenly it became that thing of the corporate merry-go-round. And we got right in there right when that was happening. But we got good people. It wasn't until after, I guess, More Fun in the New World that they started to go, and we went, yeah, we're not, bands hit that point where everything's going great and you're doing really good and then you just level off. And that's when a lot of people quit. But we kept going.
Yeah, obviously. There's a new Wild Thing, a new video for Wild Thing. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us the story behind the artist and how that came up?
Well, I don't have enough to do apparently. So one day I was sitting around. I'm a huge baseball fan, and a friend of mine in Chicago is also a huge baseball fan. Started giving me all this information, like, "Hey, you know John Moxley, the wrestler?" And I'm like, "No." He goes, "Well, he uses Wild Thing." I go, "Well, that's nice." And then he sent me a clip, and I went, "Oh my god!" And then it's based on this other wrestler from Japan, and then there was the Charlie Sheen thing in Major League, and then these other pitchers were using our version. And then I just sat there and I sat there and I went, that is so weird. One day I was driving around in my car on the way to rehearsal and Wild Thing came on the radio and I thought, oh, that'd be cool if we did that in our band. And then so we played it at practice and we did this kind of heavy metal version of it. And the Warner Brothers people went crazy over it and said we have to record it. So they put us with Michael Wagner and we had fun recording this heavy metal anthem and it was really cool, but it wasn't supposed to like transcend that. And then we got a Budweiser commercial out of it and they paid us and it was really good money. And then they said, now you're going to make a record like this. And we were like, oh, yeah, okay. And everything was falling apart. So we did it. But the Wild thing is great because you watch John Moxley come into the ring and there's like, I don't know, 20,000 people, 15,000 people all singing along with our version of Wild Thing. They've never heard of X. They have no idea who I am. They don't know who wrote this song, which we didn't, the Trogs, of course. And then all the baseball players in the movie, it's like millions and millions and millions of people have heard that song and have no idea that it's us. How weird. So I decided to write the story. And then our manager, Mike Rouse, the genius behind X, said, let's record it. Let's go down to Johnny's and we'll go record it. I go, okay. So we record it. And then we give it to Fat Possum, who licenses and works with us on all our stuff. And they went, that's great, but we need to do something more with it. You can't just have an audio. You've got to have a visual. I go, oh, well, there's this really great artist that did this cartoon, this baseball cartoon about Doc Ellis pitching on acid. And it's a great cartoon.
That's right.
And I go, why don't we get somebody and do something like that? And he goes, okay. And then he goes and gets him. He goes and gets the guy whose name I don't have in front of me right now. And I can't remember it. I'm really sad. I'll go get it and remember it. But geez. Anyway, and so then that came out, and then we put it on a disc and put the long version story and the short version story. Anyway, it was something to do. One afternoon, I just decided, well, I need something to do, and I wrote that story. But I think that is the most bizarre thing about us, that we have that hugely successful moment, mostly in the sports world.
Yeah.
And nobody knows it's us. So you want to hear another funny story?
Yes.
Okay, so there's this Dodger pitcher named Joe Kelly. I think he's.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he's with them anymore. Anyway, for a minute last year, he started doing the Wild Thing. Or this year. Yeah, he started coming out to Wild Thing because he does throw really wild, which kind of makes him effective because you're scared at the plate, I guess. But anyway, he's really a neat guy and I really love him. And so I said, we're doing this Wild thing and he's doing the Wild Thing. And he gave up his number to Otani, 17, and he took 99, just like Major League. I gotta go meet him. So my friend and I get tickets and we go down there 5 hours early and we stand around on the edge of the field through batting practice waiting to meet Joe Kelly. And he comes walking over and he's talking to these kids. He's talking to us. My heart is beating so fast I can't even. I love baseball and I love the Dodgers, right? And he comes up to us and says hi, and I completely do that thing where I
Lost it.
freeze. And he goes to shake my hand, and I go like this, and he goes, "Oh, a fist bump." I'm like, "I've never fist bump. What am I doing?" Luckily, my friend was with me, and she's got all this the vintage Dodger pins, and she's really great and stylish. And so he focused on her, and they started having a conversation, and I just said hi. I was supposed to say hi. I'm Exene from X. We recorded the Wild Thing song, and I know you're doing it in '99. I just want to say thanks. I think it's really cool. And I never said any of that. I did for the first time not the first in my life. I did the really lame thing, and then it was over, and I just felt like, why did I do that? What is wrong with me? But anyway, I got to meet Joe Kelly, and I had him sign my baseball, so I was super happy about that.
He's the mariachi guy, right? He wore the mariachi jacket. Yeah. So he's actually on the injured list. So they're hoping to have him back soon.
I hope he comes back, and I hope he does the Wild Thing walk on, because when he was doing that, I think he was a little more effective. I think it's the number 99 Wild Thing. It's going to help him. We need him, actually, at this point. The Dodgers need him. So, and speaking of that, there was a show at the Grammy Museum, which was the big giant X retrospective. I don't know if you got to go to that. Did you guys?
A couple years ago, right?
And it was really fantastic and amazing. And the woman that did that walkout was really neat. And then after that, they did a rock and roll and baseball
Yeah.
show, and they got to I got to throw out the first pitch at a Dodgers game when we had
That's
XK
right.
Dodgers in 2017. So my jersey was in there, and I was right next to Frank Sinatra's like
Wow.
jacket, from his team. But you know what? It got me thinking about, baseball and rock and roll. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
If the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame wasn't in Cleveland, it should be at Cooperstown. They're so much alike, there's so much, and it's such a, I mean, all the, Ramones and all the bands that were, had connections, Pearl Jam, everybody, it's old fashioned stuff. It's very old fashioned stuff, all American stuff, I guess,
Great stuff.
What's the baseball team? They're not real baseball, but the something Bananas.
Banana, yeah.
Oh, Savannah Bananas?
Yeah, aren't they all rock? Don't they just play like rock and roll music throughout the
I don't know.
the game and stuff?
Like I think they're kind of like the Globetrotters.
Yeah.
I don't know, but when you go to a minor league game, it is like, what about the the Glorious Bastards of Baseball? You know that movie? It's about Kurt Russell's dad. Oh my gosh, that's the most amazing. Okay, so let's talk about that. We're going on the road with Los Lobos.
Yeah, which is great.
September, October, and November, maybe beyond, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like we'll all wrap up in November. But I wanted to see if we could tie in with some of the minor league teams and like show up and throw out the baseballs, or just like, hey, Los Lobos and X are here, just members of us, and give away tickets and stuff, because again, I love that baseball rock and roll thing, but I don't think that's going to happen. But minor league teams are fun to go to see. Man, that is so much. That and spring training are so much fun. But yes, let's talk about the tour.
Yes, because Rita and I saw the preview of the tour last weekend.
Right,
that was the third show of the tour.
Yeah, and god dang, you were just amazing. Los Lobos was amazing.
Of course they were.
I haven't seen them in a long time. We saw you guys a couple years ago back there at Pacific Amphitheater. And again, you guys just killed it this time. And it was just so good to hear and see you. And everybody was just spot on, man.
What I loved also was that I saw Exene and John both standing side stage, and watching Los Lobos.
Yes.
You were watching the band, as they were playing. That's great, that kind of support. What about something with the Blasters? How's Dave doing, Dave Alvin?
Dave is doing really good. He won't get out of the van, man. The guy is a road dog, and he is so amazing. He's still touring. He's amazing. He's great. Phil has more health issues, and they're not going to play anymore. Unless something really major changes, but we all hold out hope. My goal a long time ago was to do a national tour of Lobos, Blasters, and X, and that was in the early 80s, but nobody would bite. The promoters didn't want to do it because they thought, the same people come to see all three bands, why give it all away in one show? But now it's happening, at least. It would be great if Dave could play with us too, but who knows? Los Lobos is and always has been like one of the greatest bands ever to come out of Los Angeles. And because there's no one else like them, it's not a competitive thing on stage. It's not like two rock and roll bands who are identical and one's want to be louder than the other. They're just their own thing. But it's very complimentary because we always played it together in the early days. They were part of the punk scene.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't realize, everybody was in the punk scene. The Go-Go's, X, Los Lobos, the Blasters, that was all punk rock. It had its own split off, this is roots music, or this is, Spanish language, like the Plugs, but you know what? It was all misfits making music.
And what about the Knitters?
What about the Knitters?
Well, are they done too?
I don't know.
Well, you know more than I do.
Well, what happened is
shit can happen, and they could pop up.
Mojo Nixon wanted us to play his 25th year of his South by Southwest kind of anti-complimentary show thing, and then he, we said yes. He passed away, and then that event became like his memorial service, and the Knitters did play that for the first time, I guess, in 12 years or something. We played, or 14 years, whatever it was. Very sad, but it's a celebratory, thing. He was a celebratory guy, so it was special, and we can do it. if we want. We're not going to do it while X is playing, but who knows, maybe next year or the year after, it depends. I mean, we're all older and we prioritize how we want to spend our lives. Um, I never get sick of playing songs or playing music. I never get sick of the Knitters or X, but I'm not the only person to ask, you know?
What
Yeah.
are you going to do with your time? Because you've done so many things in your life already, art and acting.
I still do lots and lots of art. In fact, a little teaser. I've made art pieces to sell at the shows because I want, and they're not expensive because I want people to be able to take something away. Like we've done those inside sleeves and, my handwritings, and art has been out there. And, sometimes you sell a piece of art for $2,000 or more, and most people are not going to spend that. But if you can buy something for $100,
Yeah.
that's different. So I wanted to do something special. We have great merchandise and everybody loves buying our shirts and stuff, but let's take something home that's different is what I was thinking. And we'll see if that even works out, if people even want it. But so I'm still doing I've been doing more art shows than ever, and I really love that. So I'm really having fun with the art world and the art career because you can just bop around and see really amazing shows and put stuff in with other people. And yeah, you're not worrying about like, oh, this gallery is really high end. And if I don't sell 5 pieces, I'll be ruined. Because it was like that for a minute. So I love doing art. I've also had a series of regular jobs all throughout my life and my career. And there's always things like that I actually like doing if I needed. But I think I'm in a position now where I can make art and travel. And by travel, I mean, I want to go to Nebraska. I mean, I want to go to the Corn Palace in South Dakota. I have never been there.
Okay.
You want to see the world's largest cob?
Yes, I do. Have you? Have you seen it?
No.
Okay.
But obviously you're gonna head there.
I might have driven by it, but
Well,
also
I've never seen it. I've been to almost all the national parks. I haven't been to Alaska. I've been to every other state.
Yeah.
I love America. I love driving around. I love the small towns. Last year, I took a vacation to Indiana, and people are like, "Why would you take a vacation to Indiana?" It's like, do you not like pie? It's like, do you not like leaves changing colors? Do you not like small towns? Do you not like little roads? Do you not like meeting people and just doing things for for the fun of it? It's like I just want to go to Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, South Dakota, and Colorado, and with a friend of mine, and we're going to drive around and do that. Things like that.
It's great.
I'm not talking about some whirlwind international. I can't wait to get to the Mediterranean. I've been there. It's nice, but yeah, I'd like to go back to Florida. I have friends in New Orleans. I have, there's places I want to just see family and friends and do things. I want to go to spring training. But that being said, I do have to make a living. So we'll see.
What, you can't get off on the investments and stuff?
I could.
Yeah.
I could indeed. However, I've worked really hard my whole life and I've always been very frugal and saved money. But, I think I just come from a very strong work ethic and financially, like I want to be secure. I live alone. I'm not married. I take care of myself. I need to make sure I'm set, and I get bored if I don't have something to do. But art, I think I want to just do art mostly.
That's cool. That's really nice. One more question about the album. I just wanted to know about Ruby Church from the new
Isn't that
album.
a great song?
Great
I
song.
love that song, but I kind of feel like I need to know if you want to give us a little explanation of it.
Well, John wrote the words, and I've heard him, talk about it being for different people at different times. Like it's about this person. No, it's about this person, and I think it's about a bunch of people. And it's whoever he's thinking about at that time, whoever is gone. It's about it's like being hallowed ground, being already a saint, being already dead but being alive, and seeing people look at you weird and being able to smile at them and then transcend. And I always think of Ruby Church as having stained glass windows, but they're all red, like ruby light, and everybody's lit up in red. And that's how I see it, a little tiny country church with red windows. I just love the harmonies, the melodies, the music. I just love that song. I think it's a great song.
And Billy Zoom guitar, my God, he's
God.
doing some great stuff. It's kind of like
Oh,
Southern swag, surf, soul, some of that. I just love it.
Thank
Love
you.
it.
Well, Billy's something else, that's for sure. I don't know what
Yeah.
else to say.
do you have a few more minutes just to ask
I
some
have
real?
plenty of minutes.
Okay,
go.
we have some what we call the bonus round. So now these are the fun questions, and I'll let Rita start it off.
What was the first concert you went to?
Alice Cooper, the 18 tour when I was 15 years old, and it blew my mind. I
My
love that
God.
record. I listened to that record 24 hours a day when I could. I think it was probably $5 to get in. It was in St. Pete. Went with a bunch of my friends and their older sisters who could drive.
Right.
Man, was that a good show. It might have been at the Bayfront. I don't remember where it was. Might have been in Tampa.
Ah,
That's great. Who would you want to meet you've never met?
Living?
Dead or alive? It's your game as much as
Dead or
ours.
alive. Well, that's too big. That's way too big, way too big, way too big. I don't really think about that kind of stuff too much. I'm not a hero worshiper. I do appreciate people, but I'm also very shy, as I explained earlier.
Mm,
Nothing's coming to mind. I'm so sorry to say.
it's okay. You don't have to. Maybe it'd be a Dodger again.
Well, I mean, if you put the dead people in there, then everybody,
how about Jim
everybody that's
Morrison?
ever lived. I mean, I don't know.
Jim Morrison, because he was a poet too, and your connection. I mean, that was so cool that you had Ray Manzarek produce that album.
God.
My God,
First 4 albums. How bizarre is that? It's just beyond bizarre because I never would have thought I'd end up in LA. But anyway, what's your next fun question? Since
the
I
next
can't
fun
answer that
question
one.
is: did you ever have a Spinal Tap moment on stage?
I think that yes. Are you crazy? Okay, I remember one time we were playing some place and when clubs they're undergoing renovation or something, and we were walking to get to the stage. There was like what's that plaster walls, nailed up. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, like poster board or whatever.
Not poster board, but gosh,
Yeah.
what is it? Anyway, and we were walking and then all of a sudden we were like, no, this isn't it. And we were all like bumping into each other and trying to get to the stage. I just remember that one because it kept going on and it was like, oh my gosh, we're having a Spinal Tap moment. But I think things go wrong sometimes. Like I think the little tiny X on the giant marquee is a Spinal Tap moment. That
Yes.
for sure. Because we
Yeah.
finally made it. We're playing oh gosh, we're still, why did we call ourselves X? I think that, I can't think of any others, but every band has Spinal Tap moments. And by the way, I'm excited about that movie coming out, right?
Yeah. September
Did you
7th.
see the announcement today? They're going to do a special IMAX
No.
version on the 10th, and then they're going to have a Q&A with all the band members and Marty after the screening.
Oh, you guys
Where
are
at?
going to that, right?
I'd like to, yeah. It's on the 10th. It's like 2 days before it actually opens.
Is it in
Oh, you guys
Irvine?
have to be there. You should be
It's
there.
any IMAX. Any IMAX.
Oh, okay. I see. I'd like to be the
okay.
one where they're doing it.
I'm just happy that, it'll be fun to watch another.
Oh, God, right?
Unfortunately, there's not going to be a Galaxy Quest sequel, but I'll settle for Spinal Tap. So do you have any more fun questions for me?
Yeah.
One more question. Oh, well,
Okay.
I've got one and CW's got one.
Go for it.
What would you say to somebody like yourself, 16, 17, 18 years old and wanting to do what you do? What would your advice be to them?
People don't take advice, A. And so I wouldn't waste my time giving advice. You can't give people advice. You can make suggestions. You can offer encouragement. You can find out what they're into and try to help them discover who they are. If I had to say one thing, it would be yourself and be uncompromising about that. That doesn't mean don't make business decisions that help you, and don't be selfish. Don't be egotistical. Think of the other people you're involved with when you make a decision, not just what's best for you. But I was fiercely original because that's all I had. I couldn't imitate other singers because I didn't have that kind of voice. I couldn't, I wasn't a supermodel. I wasn't like a Runaways type of person. I just had me, and I had to be as much of me. I had to be that, and I believed in that. So I would say believe in yourself, but don't try to imitate other people because that's dumb. It's like, who are your influences? Well, I don't want any influences. I just want to be me. Who do I look up to? Well, that's a big list. So I say I wouldn't give people advice because they don't take it. But if someone wanted to talk to me and have a conversation, I would listen to what they wanted to do and try to help them figure out a way to do that suits them. Because yeah, one time somebody asked me what's the best advice you can give young women starting out, and I said don't get married, and they went, what do you mean? I went, don't get married. And I realized I just blurted out the first thing that came in my head, and now I'm stuck with it, and it went all over the place. It was
Oh, no.
reprinted and talked about, and then I had to do interviews about it, and it was like,
Uh,
okay, here's the thing. Men and women are different. I know that's controversial, but when men are in bands, women want to be like, it's like the groupie thing. It just exists. It's true. And like the girlfriend will buy the van and the amps, and she just wants you to be successful and she's going to go along for the ride. Sometimes that's a stereotype. But with women, if you're successful and you're a strong woman, it's not like there's hundreds of men wanting to get with you. The only men that want to get with you are people that are like, oh, maybe she could help my career, or maybe she's got money. It's different. I'm telling you, it's
yeah.
different. And so I think the thing with women is you have to like just be like a man. You have to be focused on your career. If you want to be in a band, you want to write songs, you want to be successful, you have to focus on that. Of course, you can get married. Of course, you can have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. I was just saying, just really, really, focus on that, because sometimes relationships pull you away from. And that's why with John and me, we were in the band together, and that works a lot of times for people. That really does help. Anyway, so I'm bad at advice. I wish everybody the best.
Okay, if you were making a documentary film, what would the subject be?
That is a really hard question to answer.
If I said, Exene, you have $20 million, what's important enough to you in your career or whatever that you think?
I would do this. I would say my documentary would be called How to Spend $20 Million on Things That Matter and Film It in Super 8. Because that $20 million would go a lot farther than a film I would make. I'll tell you, I would just go around giving people money and helping people with that money, and then making a documentary about that, I suppose. So the only other thing I wanted to say was I do want to say that we're playing with Los Lobos in September, October, and November. We're playing lots of great places. We're playing like Town Hall in New York City, which is an amazing historical venue. We're playing 2 nights there. So that's really special. We're playing Indianapolis. I love Indiana. And we're playing, some of the regular places like Boston, Austin, Dallas, Houston, and stuff like that. Detroit. And this is our last go around. These aren't little clubs. They're more like halls and theaters and stuff. So it's a little bigger than we usually play because of the 2 headliner thing. But we're not doing the band thing next year. So if you want to come see us and see us with Los Lobos, it's not like I'm saying this because you better come see us. I'm just saying it might be a good idea, more advice, but I don't want to give you advice. This would probably be a nice thing to do with your kids or something, or maybe if you're young and you haven't seen these bands, because I have a regret in life, which is I never took my son to see the Ramones. That we live in LA, and they came once in a while, and they played some overage places, and then he couldn't go and that's the only thing like that, like, man, I should have taken him to see the Ramones. And I think he still is kind of like, has a little bit like, Mom, how come you, because they stopped playing when he was like very young. So,
Yeah.
but, yeah, rock and roll will never die, as they say, but it does have an expiration date. And so we all need to go have fun while we can.
Thank you. And we'll put the whole list of tour dates on our website when we post this, and links to get tickets and things like that. So,
that'd be great. I think we're doing a thing, 2 tickets for $99.
Yeah, a lot of places. Yeah,
you can get 2 tickets for $99, which I think is pretty decent these days.
Very much so.
And so don't be tricked into thinking you have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a ticket, because sometimes you can and sometimes you don't have to. So look for those. And we'll see you guys out there. I hope you get to go to another show.
Yeah, maybe, I think you're playing Riverside, so maybe we can.
The Fox Theater in Riverside.
Yeah, that's a great old theater. Yeah.
I saw Willie Nelson there. That is a beautiful, beautiful place.
Yeah.
Super excited about that. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
You've been wonderful. Thank you so much for your time and for your
Thank
honest
you.
answers. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
I couldn't answer everything, but that's okay too.
You did a wonderful job.
You're
thank you for the
beautiful
good
as you are.
questions.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank you,
blessed
guys.
day.
See you around.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Exene.
Bye-bye.
Take
Bye,
care.
everybody.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Well, you know what? We were lucky enough to join X, not only on stage, but to see the pre show with Los Lobos and X, and actually Ozo Motley at the Pacific Amphitheater. And my God, what a great show.
Absolutely. And you know what I loved especially? I loved seeing both Exene and John watching Los Lobos at various times backstage, just enjoying the music. I mean, they're buds and everything like that, but just appreciating what they do and the moment.
And it's interesting to me that they categorize, and I know we talked about this when we had Los Lobos on the podcast. Los Lobos is kind of categorized as kind of a punk band, even though their music is not punk, but they fall into that same genre.
I'd like to just call it Americana.
Okay.
Americana music.
You can call it whatever you want, Rita.
Yeah. But she was just wonderful. Special thanks to Michael Rouse, Melissa Dragic, Lisa Sexton, and Jay Sudan, all for helping to coordinate the interview, among other things.
X's final tour with Los Lobos begins September 19th in Toronto, Ontario, and goes through the end of November in Houston, Texas. Tickets are on sale now, and there are even a few venues. I think most of the venues, if they're still available, are offering the 2 tickets for $99 deal, which is amazing. Go to xtheband.com for ticket information.
X's latest album, Spoken Fiction, is out now. Find it at your local record store or at xtheband.com. Follow X on social media on Facebook, X the Band, and Instagram, X the Band Official.
And check out our show notes. They are on our website, which is rockandrollconfessional.rocks. There you can find links to some of the subjects talked about in today's show, including links to order the new album, the new Wild Thing picture disc. You can view some of the latest Smoke and Fiction videos. There's touring dates, ticket purchase, and much, much more.
Please support the podcast by subscribing wherever you can, writing a review, follow and comment on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and share your posts with your friends.
Yeah, baby, that's amazing. Thanks, everybody, so much for listening. It is crazy time right now. We have 2 interviews on Thursday. We're promoting one, and we're editing another.
You're the busy guy, and I appreciate
you're
all that
busy
you
too.
do. I appreciate all that you do for the website page. You do an amazing job with that. Thank
Appreciate
you,
you, Rita Wild, for being the professional announcer that you are with that beautiful voice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, goodbye, everybody.
You want to do it again for real?
No. Do you?
You want to read through it again and get it perfect so you don't have to do any edits?